Let's be real. Our digital lives are, well, they're our lives now. It's how we connect, how we learn, how we share who we are. But there's a darker side to being this plugged in all the time, a shadow that follows us right through our screens. So today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to unpack the hidden and very, very real toll of cyberbullying on mental health. Let's get into it.
All right, here's our roadmap. First, we're going to nail down what we're even talking about. What is this digital threat? Then we'll zoom out to see just how big this problem is globally. After that, we'll zoom right in on the serious damage it does to mental health. From there, we'll look at the search for solutions. And finally, we'll ask, what does the future hold? So, first things first, what exactly is cyberbullying? I mean, it's easy to just say it's being mean online, but to really get a handle on the problem, we need to look at how researchers actually defined it. It's more specific than you might think.
What really separates it from just, a heated argument or a nasty comment online? What makes it so uniquely harmful?
Okay, here's the definition that researchers Peter and Peterman use. And the two words you really need to lock onto are repeatedly and intentionally. This isn't about a one-off angry comment in a thread. No, this is a deliberate, targeted campaign using technology to hurt someone over and over again.
And when you put it side by side with old school bullying, you really start to see why it can be so much more damaging. With traditional bullying, maybe you could get a break when you went home. But cyberbullying, it's 24/7. It follows you home in your pocket. The bully can hide behind a screen, completely anonymous, while the audience can be, well, basically the entire internet. Plus, researchers talk about this thing called the disinhibition effect. It's this idea that people feel way less restrained online, saying things they would never say to someone's face. And all of it leaves behind a digital footprint that can haunt you forever.
And we're not just talking about a few isolated incidents here. Not at all. Cyberbullying is a recognized global issue, and it's kicked off this huge wave of research from all around the world. I mean, just look at the sheer amount of research coming out. You can see how seriously the global community is taking this. The United States is way out in front, but you've got this clear international effort from Spain, the UK, Australia, Canada. Clearly, people are paying attention. But, and this is a really big but, there's this massive blind spot in all this global research. A major review looked at 50 different studies and found that not a single one came from Africa. That means our whole understanding of this problem is pretty much shaped by a Western point of view, which leaves these huge gaps in what we know. And when we try to figure out just how many people are affected, well, the numbers are kind of all over the place. Some studies report victimization rates as low as 7%, while others go as high as almost 57%. Now, that huge range is partly because everyone's using different definitions and tools to measure it. But here's the really crucial point. Even that lowest estimate, 7%, translates to millions and millions of young people suffering all over the world. Okay, so now we get to the heart of it, why this matters so much. This is about the direct and often devastating human cost. This is where the digital world causes very, very real-world pain. And when you look at the research, the findings are chillingly consistent. We see these clear, undeniable links to depression, to anxiety, to chronic stress. It's a direct assault on a person's self-esteem. It can make victims pull away from their friends, which leads to this profound loneliness, shame, and guilt. And of course, that emotional weight eventually spills over into everything else, like how they're doing in school. And this is where things get really, really serious. A major review from 2022 put it bluntly, saying there is an alarming relationship between cyberbullying, suicidal thoughts, and self-harm. So we're not just talking about emotional pain anymore. This can literally become a matter of life and death. And to put that into perspective for you, the World Health Organization already tells us that suicide is the third leading cause of death for teenagers. So when you take the normal struggles of being a teenager and you layer the relentless 24/7 pressure of cyberbullying on top of that, the danger becomes crystal clear. So with a problem this big, what is actually being done about it? Well, the good news is that researchers aren't just standing by and documenting the problem. They are actively trying to find ways to fight back and to protect people online. It's actually pretty cool to see how the research has sort of grown up over time. If you look back to the early 2010s, the main focus was just trying to figure out how big the problem was. Then, by the middle of the decade, you start seeing more studies on actual interventions. And now, the really cutting-edge research is moving toward high-tech solutions, like using AI to automatically spot this stuff. So these solutions kind of fall into four main buckets. You've got educational programs in schools, teaching kids about digital citizenship. Then there are more specialized cognitive behavioral programs that help victims build coping skills. You've also got peer support systems, which try to build a better, more supportive school culture from the ground up. And then there's the really futuristic stuff, using AI and machine learning to flag and take down harmful content before it spreads.
And that's the bottom line, right? This research isn't just for dusty academic journals. The whole point is to turn these findings into real, actual strategies that can protect our mental well-being in the digital world that we all live in every single day.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? Let's take one last look at where things stand right now and what challenges are still ahead. If you look at where all the brainpower has gone, you can see that for years, the top priority was just understanding the problem. I mean, over half of all studies were just focused on how widespread it was and what its effects were. But now, thankfully, you can see that focus is starting to shift towards what really matters, finding and testing solutions that actually work.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Cyberbullying is a complicated, constantly changing global threat, and it has severe costs for our mental health. And right now, researchers are in this constant race against technology itself, trying to develop interventions that can actually keep up.
Which leaves us with a really big, critical question for the future. As our technology just keeps getting faster and faster, creating all these new ways for us to connect and, new ways to harm each other, can our interventions, and maybe more importantly, can our empathy actually keep pace?